Hey guys, welcome back to Recording Artist Explained. I'm Bridges, and this is video 2, entitled Versatility is Overrated. I decided to make this video because a lot of artists, they get hung up on proving their versatility. They want everybody to know that they can do everything. You know, they want to show that they can rap, they want to show that they can do Latin music, they want to show, you know, they want to have like an island type song, they want to do trap, they want to just show how versatile they are. No one wants that. No one wants that from any artist. People want an artist to do a very specific thing, and they want them to do that very well. And I'm not saying that that thing can't evolve over time, because obviously it should change with the times. But, you know, for instance, I worked with Miguel extensively, and Miguel, you know, he's very influenced by Prince, and he's very influenced by Jimi Hendrix, and then he's very influenced by, you know, like modern R&B, modern hip-hop kind of stuff. Miguel's not going out there and doing heavy metal, and Miguel's not going out there and doing future bass. He's doing what he does, and he's evolving with that. So that's why I'm making this video, that versatility is overrated. Artists are defined just as much by what they don't do as what they do. This brings us to our main concept for video 2, the pyramid. I was introduced to this concept by a good friend of mine named Kevin Hastings, who I shared the stage with Miguel for a period of time. Basically, the pyramid is all about picking the 3 cornerstones of your music, because, you know, if you pick more than that, it starts to sound convoluted. It's kind of like cooking. You know, have you ever noticed you look at a menu and there aren't that many main ingredients? It's kind of because if there are that many main ingredients, it starts to taste like nothing. It's like everything and nothing at the same time. And you know, you could extend the pyramid to maybe 4 things, maybe 5 things. But 3 is kind of the magic number. Let's think about this for some really famous artists. Let's take Adele. If I were just thinking about what Adele's pyramid could be, 1, vintage instruments, you know, like kind of a throwbacky 50s, 60s, 70s type feel with the instruments. So, you know, real instruments, lots of tubes, lots of saturation, you know, not really crazy high end, you know, want to make it sound vintage. So number 2 would be in the lyrics that she writes. One of my favorite songs by her is When We Were Young, and I love the lyrics of the song. I love the song, period. But the song talks about, it uses very personal and very specific situations in her life. It might be true, might not be true, but the storyline is, you know, she sees this guy at a party that she used to share her life with, and then she sees how time has passed, and basically they just kind of reflect on the time they had, and they reflect on how time is passing for everybody. So basically, I would say that number 2 would be very, very personal lyrics, and very personal lyrics that encompass allegorical things that we all have in common. And, you know, that's really true of most songs, but most great songs that have a lot of legs, but she really seems to hit upon, you know, like the global big song over and over again. I'd say she really has a knack for that. And then I would say number 3 for her would be ballads. I mean, the ballads just really show off her voice. And with the ballads come the arrangement styles. She always has very sparse arrangements that show off the intricacies of her voice. So to recap, 1 would be vintage instruments and playing styles and sonics. So just vintage sonics all across the board. Number 2 would be the personal, seemingly specific and personal lyrics that appeal to everyone globally. Number 3 would be the ballads that show off her voice. Obviously, it's easier to show off vocals during a ballad than it is like some crazy future bass drop or something. So arrangements that show off her voice. I'm sure you've noticed by now, if you've paid attention to Adele, that there are a bunch of things she's not going to give you. Like, Adele is not going to give you EDM buildups, or she's not going to give you a drop. She's not going to give you, she's not going to give you saws that are opening and closing with an LFO. She's not going to give you anything EDM-like. She's not going to give you, anything hip-hop-like. She's not going to rap. You know what I'm saying? Adele is just as defined by what she doesn't do as what she does do. Let's try another. So Post Malone, if I were to think about what his pyramid could be, I would say it would be nursery rhymes. I'm sure you've noticed that Post melodies are extremely symmetrical. They're extremely repetitive, and they're very, nursery rhyme is just like, very like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star like, or Yankee Doodle Went to Town, like very nursery rhyme like. Check it out if you haven't noticed that. Number 2 would be trap drums. Like all across the board, he's got trap drums, very in right now, and he has his producer Louis Bell, who I love his production. He has a very signature kind of way that he does it. He uses different sounds than everybody. So trap drums. And then number 3, I'd say he uses a lot of like 80s sounding synths and kind of retro guitar sounds. Like Post is actually a really good guitarist. His hip hop has kind of a more organic feel than a lot of the other hip hop that's out there. Post pyramid would be the nursery rhyme / singing / rapping vocal delivery that he's got going on. No one else is doing it like him. Then the trap drums, and then the 80s synths and the guitar elements. In the next video, you'll meet a dear friend of mine named Meg DeLacy, who's an artist who I've been developing for the past 2 years, and we'll ask her some questions about what her pyramid might be. Let's see if I get it right. Hey guys, I just finished talking about the pyramids of famous artists that, anyone in this time period would know, Adele and Post Malone. We just talked about the pyramids, the 3 cornerstones that make their sound. And now I'd like to talk about the pyramid of a very good friend of mine, an artist I've been working with for the last 2 years. I've had the privilege to develop alongside with her. And her name is Meg DeLacy.
Hey, what's up?
And I'm going to ask her some questions. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about her, and I'm going to ask some questions. So, as far as Meg's pyramid, which I had the privilege of co-creating with her, I would say that the 3 cornerstones to Meg's sound, Meg has a tremendous respect for R&B music. And that's R&B music from times of old and now. So basically, I feel like as long as it's R&B, I can draw from a lot of different places. Like I'll utilize, like Motown bass. Like I'll pick up my P bass and play like some James Jamerson kind of stuff, and she'll be down. Or I can, listen to Her's last single, which is going to be really futuristic and out there. And then, Sabrina Claudio and all these kind of things. So that's a huge sound palette to draw from, just R&B music. She's going to be down with it. And she has such an interesting voice that it's going to sound uniquely her no matter what I do. So that's great. Another really big, I guess they're all equal, but this is my favorite of the cornerstones, is jazz harmony. Meg really likes chords that have, the extra notes in them, the ones that pull your heartstrings. So I get to use, higher extensions and, like jazzier kind of flavorings that I think a lot of pop producers are afraid to sneak in. Like if you're doing a Taylor Swift song, you're probably not going to use the same chords that Meg likes.
Yeah, no.
And that's a very, I'm not saying we're the only people that do it, but it's a very characteristic thing that we enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. And then another cornerstone, the last one I would say, is live instrumentation. I grew up playing the bass, and then I taught myself guitar and keys, and Meg loves all of it. I try to play as many live instruments as I can on each track. Mm-hmm. The track you're about to hear us record has me sneaking in some live bass on top of some big ass 808s. So it's always a unique and fun challenge to figure out how to pair the live instrumentation, which you kind of don't really hear that much anymore, with like the big bombastic production of today. And that was Meg's Pyramid as far as the tracks, the music, which I produce. And I would say Meg's Pyramid, as far as her vocal delivery, which I've never asked her, this is just what I assume. Let's see how much she agrees with me. I would say, number one, Meg has like a very sultry, nonchalant, relaxed delivery. Like Meg, she feels chill and effortless, and she's got a swag about her. I would say number two is her lyrical content is very, very vivid, a lot of imagery, and sometimes it's not very. Sometimes it can be very direct, and sometimes you can really obscure, you can kind of like weave around what you're trying to say. But yeah, very metaphoric, just kind of very interesting lyrics. Like you talk about very personal things. And then I would say, as far as the vocal production, I use a lot of big reverbs, a lot of like cold 80s plates. Just, I don't know, I guess really early on I figured that really works with her voice. And also Meg's voice loves compression. Some people don't really handle that well, but Meg's voice just loves it. So,
I love it so much.
Yeah, that would be her three cornerstones. The sultry, nonchalant delivery, the very poetic, personal, introspective lyrics, and then the kind of dreamy, ethereal vocal production.
You know me so well.
Yeah? I was going to say how'd I do, but I know I did well.
Yeah. No, yeah, you know me so well. I mean, just to add to that, because you kind of covered most of it, I am first a lyric girl. That's what I honestly look for in any song. If I can pick it out and create a story with it in my own, and that's what I kind of incorporate when I'm writing too, making sure that it's authentic to myself and telling some sort of story that I've been through. But then also creating those pockets of space for other people to kind of interpret what I'm saying on their own. A song could be written about something completely different, and I hear it as personal as it can be, and it might not even be about that, but it still speaks to me that way. So making sure that there's areas there, either what I'm saying or what I'm scatting on or whatever, just having that freedom for the listener to start kind of going through their own imagery on their own. Bass, you are an amazing bass player, and I love how the bass kind of drives our songs. It keeps me moving, and it keeps probably the listener moving, and it creates a vibe, like an immediate vibe. Whenever we write, I always want you to just like throw down some bass lick or whatever, and that usually kind of sets the mood of the day. If we don't necessarily know what we want to talk about right when I walk in. So that I love that, and that's in all of the songs that we do. I always am like, turn on the bass, please. We
should probably just start with that.
We usually do. Or it's like a guitar little lick thing, but you're more of a bass player than a guitarist, even though you're dope at guitar as well.
Don't throw me under the bus like that. It's on camera.
But no, you know.
Okay.
Your bass is off the chain. And then, like you said, live instruments, keeping that raw organic vibe to incorporate not just R&B listeners, but then also other people that don't necessarily listen to that every day, but once they hear that, that horn or that electric guitar or just any type of real anything, it kind of, your ear picks it up, and it's it's nice grounding to the song. And my music taste is all over the place. I do love making R&B, but I listen to a ton of stuff.
Right.
And I'm that listener as well. Like, I can listen to something and be like, oh, but like, that bridge is sick because, those keys come in and it's super just like stripped down and real, and I don't know, it speaks, and I feel like a lot of people feel that.
Yeah, and you're also the type of listener where you'll hear a reggae song and you're like, Jayme, how do we put that into our thing?
Exactly.
Doesn't even have to be the same genre.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, some of all of it's so good.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, you guys will hear that.
You'll hear it.
But yeah, that's a very interesting topic, which I probably mentioned before, and if I didn't, I'm going to mention it now because it's very important. Would you agree, Meg, that what an artist chooses not to do is just as important as what an artist chooses to do stylistically?
I would agree.
Yeah, because, you know, Meg's music, we don't really have EDM builds and drops and heavy metal guitar, and like I personally really like all of those things, but if I put every single thing that I liked or we liked into Meg's sound, it would just be it'd be too much. It'd be like if you're making a stew or a pasta dish and you put every single thing that you like in, it's gonna taste like nothing. There isn't enough of any one thing to pick it out and enjoy it. So that's kind of the impetus behind the pyramid idea. If you have you pick three things that you really like, and you give as much as you possibly can of those three things, and that'll never get boring or overwhelming for the listener.
Yeah. No, you want to stay as specific as possible, and also sometimes simple. That's when the beauty comes out as much as and you can find it too.
Yeah, and
take some stuff out, add some stuff, take some stuff out.
Yeah, and honestly, Meg, like your fans, they know you as R&B, soulstress, all that kind of stuff. Like, they're not really looking for you to sing salsa.
No, and luckily we were able to find that sound and release it and get some good feedback of it, because, you know, sometimes artists need to release a ton of different types of things to see what people want to hear you on, and we found a home. Yeah,
a lot of artists make the mistake, I think, of, you know, the tropical Kygo thing is popular right now. Let's do one of those, or let's do a trap one, or they keep chasing these genres. What you really want to do, at least this is what I do, and I'm blessed to connect with artists that feel the same way that I do, is you want to find your sound and be really different. Like, kind of timestamp it for the future. Like, do something that 3 years from now people are gonna be like, oh shit, like, how did I miss out on this? This person's been doing this for this long, and just kind of sit in one place with a sound, and then people will notice. Like, don't chase trends.
And as you sit there, you know, you create your own.
Yeah, and it'll evolve.
You know,
obviously.
unique little aspects of it too. So.
You know what's interesting? I think it's important. A lot of people are scared of writing, not bad songs, but they're afraid to write songs that don't work for them. And I actually think that that's a very important part of the process, because to be able to feel why a song doesn't work for you,
you gotta know what it's
like that's way different than like someone telling you like, oh, this doesn't work for you. But when you feel in your own soul like, oh wow, this doesn't work for me, then you very viscerally know like your path. So the bad songs, I don't say bad, I mean maybe some of them are bad, but
just the songs
the
that
unused
don't...
ones, the unused ones are just as useful to me. Yeah, they serve you just as much. So sweet.
Respect.
Well, I think you guys are about to hear Meg and I do some recording, and you'll hear the type of conversations and the type of things we talk about when we're recording vocals, which may be new to you guys, may not be. That's awesome if it's not.
And kind of story too, and emotion when you sing it.
Yeah. Well, don't give it away. They gotta.
Story. No.
They gotta wait for the next video. So.
Right.
All right. Well, see you guys in the next video, guys.
Bye.